Welcome to the Frozen Layer podcast, brought to you by ZenTech Consultant CA, where we will discuss all things related to the CAD, BIM, and construction markets, with a little humor thrown in for good measure. I am your host, Steve Fahey. Let's get into it. Our goal with the Frozen Layer podcast is to share valuable information that our CAD, BIM, and construction clients will find useful and help them increase productivity, just like freezing a layer in CAD. I'd like to welcome from beautiful Tennessee, Gary Smith, Bricsys Vice President North America, to the Frozen Layer podcast. Welcome, Gary.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Pleased to have you here today. Gary, you have an impressive history in the CAD/CAM industry. Why don't you start with providing a quick overview of your background?
Sure. My background is I've been working in the CAD industry for a little over 30 years with a few different companies. The majority of my career, I spent about 2 decades with Autodesk in various roles at Autodesk. And when I finished up at Autodesk, I was the Vice President of the Americas Partner Sales.
Okay.
And then from Autodesk, I went into more the manufacturing and IoT CAD industry, and I was with PTC for almost a decade.
Okay.
Definitely a different contrast than Autodesk. Really great technology, great solutions in the manufacturing side with their PLM and IoT offerings.
Yeah, good company. Been around for a long time, and like you say, within the mechanical world, very well known. With that background, when the opportunity presented itself to join Bricsys, what attracted you to the position?
What attracted me to the position is I really felt Bricsys had an offering that reminded me of what I loved about Autodesk when I started there in 1995. It felt like a democratized, affordable, reasonable to use CAD solution that can solve people's problems. And so it was really kind of refreshing and a little bit of nostalgia to see that solution that anybody could use to get their job done efficiently and economically. In addition, there's just a ton of people who are at Bricsys now who were my former counterparts at Autodesk back in the day. And we see the opportunity and the potential with Bricsys like we did in the early democratized days of AutoCAD at Autodesk. And we want to be able to make that solution available to anybody who needs a high quality, different, leading edge, affordable CAD solution.
Yeah, and as you know, I spent almost 29 years in the Autodesk channel on the reseller side. And when I left the Autodesk reseller channel and started to consider going into the Bricsys channel, it's kind of felt the same thing, that once you started looking at the product and using it and seeing where Bricsys was going with it, you got a feeling of what it used to be like, where the product was the leader, and advancements and trying to have a good solution for the client was the important part. So,
yes.
You've been with Bricsys for, I think, a little over a year now. In your time with the company, has there been anything that surprised you?
Well, we kind of talked about it, but what has surprised me is just this feeling of deja vu with customers, with the company, with the offerings, with the opportunities, with the challenges. So it's very, very similar to days gone by. And what also I would say, is it surprised me? I don't know if it surprised me, but what I love about it is just seeing the variety of customers and how they use our software to solve their problems, right? It's just really rewarding. And maybe what surprised me is getting that personal feeling of self-satisfaction, knowing I'm helping them, making a contribution to go in and to solve a problem, use our software to solve a problem, get their job done. It's just really rewarding. And I haven't had that feeling in a while, and it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I have the same feeling coming from the reseller side in dealing with Bricsys and having, people that I've known from the Autodesk days and now dealing with them in BricsCAD and so, or through Bricsys. So it's similar on this side of the fence as well. So, one thing that I frequently find when I'm talking with clients and introducing BricsCAD is a lot of clients don't realize, or a lot of companies out there, even if they're not using Bricsys yet, don't realize that Bricsys is part of the Hexagon group of companies, and they don't realize just how large Hexagon group is and what they bring to the market. From your perspective, how does the Hexagon relationship help Bricsys?
Yeah. Great question. So first, you need to understand, if you don't know who Hexagon is, it's important to know who Hexagon is. Hexagon is a 6 billion euro a year company made up of technology companies, many in the AEC industry. We have other great technology in things like autonomous driving, in mining, but all in the tech industry. And a lot of that technology was done through acquisitions, and we continue to strive to look for fidelity on these solutions that customers can take advantage of their file formats, of their output, that they can use in multiple Hexagon tools. That's no easy task, and we continue to strive for that. So it's coming. So that's exciting. The other piece is, Bricsys wasn't that large of a company, based out of Ghent, Belgium, been around for 20 plus years, native DWG, really good stuff, but not a huge company. And so quite frankly, Hexagon has deep pockets that are now being used to continue to develop that DWG platform like nobody else. And so it's making a tremendous difference. Hexagon and Bricsys does not believe that the DWG platform is obsolete. There are a tremendous number of customers who work in that DWG environment, are comfortable in that DWG environment, and it works great for them to get their jobs done. So with those deep Hexagon pockets, DWG integration to other solutions, we're going to ensure that there's a great platform for customers for many, many years to come.
Yeah, and I frequently, when I'm speaking with people and they say, oh, Hexagon, I typically only have to say Leica. Are you familiar with Leica? Yeah, I know. Okay, well, then you know Hexagon. And I do find that there seems to be a lot of overlap with the technology advancements within Bricsys coming from the Hexagon, from the Leica partnership, where the point clouds and a lot of the functionality that Leica owns is really pushing and benefiting Bricsys software and Bricsys clients. So that's always a good thing when you see that that relationship benefiting both sides. So, all right.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to make one comment on this. Steve, you and I have talked about it a lot, and I love showing software to customers when they literally give the oohs and the ahs. Our tin manipulation, coming into BricsCAD is best in class.
Yeah.
It's actually manageable for a civil engineer, or maybe a GC who's preparing the site, who needs to come in, understand the topography, can actually use that tin surface coming in and take advantage of it. So absolutely best in class, and that's a great example of integration between us and other Hexagon companies like Leica.
Yeah, absolutely. We did a podcast, or sorry, a webinar on the tin surface from a point cloud. I think it's almost a year ago now. I did it with Rick Ellis, but we're going to have to do a new one with some of the new functionality that's out for point clouds in the new V24. So everybody can look for that coming later this summer, hopefully. We're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our sponsor. And when we come back, I would like to discuss how BricsCAD is different than other CAD companies. Today's Frozen Layer podcast is being brought to you by our Zentek training division. Zentek has a variety of training options available, from public courses, private group courses, on-demand courses, as well as custom courses to meet all your design needs. We offer training in Bluebeam, Autodesk, Procore, and BricsCAD, with options from beginner through to advanced. To learn more, visit our website, zentechconsultants.net, or give us a call, 866-824-4459, or you can email sales@zentechconsultants.net. Zentech Consultants CA for all your technology consulting needs. Welcome back to the Frozen Layer podcast with our special guest today, Gary Smith from Bricsys. Gary, as I mentioned before the break, I would like you to tell us how BricsCAD is different than other CAD packages.
Yeah. So when I think about Bricsys, let me focus really on the company first. So when I think about Bricsys, my experience to other CAD companies out there, ones I may have worked for and ones I may not have worked for, just understanding the industry. And by the way, there's just great technology and really solid companies out there.
Yeah.
But when I think about Bricsys, what is unique about Bricsys? The first thing that comes to mind, the first words, number one, is value. It's an unbelievable value to a customer for solving their problems. I know you hear me say, solving customers' problems a lot, but that's what we do. We create tools to help them solve their problems, get that job done faster, and we do so at a tremendous value. Doesn't mean it's cheap.
Yeah.
Some people have called us, "Oh, you guys are an AutoCAD clone." Absolutely not. Yes, we are a DWG platform, part of the ODA. That code's been around for over 20 years, so super solid. But when I say value, first of all, from a leading technology standpoint on the product, we have some really awesome AI built in that's all about productivity. So people hear AI for CAD, they think generative design. Nope.
Yeah.
For us, it's about workflow productivity. And, if you're a CAD user and you're doing something with CAD, and the next day you may be on the job site wearing a hard hat or doing something with a tool in your hand, then we're probably the ideal solution for you. You can use that productivity AI built in to go in and get your job done faster and more efficient. So from a technology standpoint, that's one of the ways that we're different. As a company, one of the things I'm really proud about Bricsys is we're still trying to provide value to our customer based on increased functionality in the product.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of software companies, just in general, not just in the CAD industry, but a lot of software companies in general have started to grow their top line by changing up the business model. If you go back and a little bit of time, they went from you could buy the product and you had the right to use it as long as you wanted to. It's called a perpetual license. Then they introduced the idea of a subscription license, which means simply if you stop paying them, you give up the right to use the software, period. Now we have subscription because some people like it. They like that because they colored their money at the time. It's an operating expense, not a capital expense, and they can budget for it. But we still have perpetual because a lot of customers love the idea of, hey, if something gets tough, if the times get tough, the economy takes a downturn, this is a mission critical tool to keep my business going. And I can rely on what I have and know I'll get my job done, right? Without being dependent on future expenses. So we love our customers to stay on maintenance. They get support, they get future technology. But if things get tough, they know they have that insurance policy. So we continue to do that. Also, we have network licensing. It's been around a long time. It's a simple concept, right?
Yeah.
I can't understand this concept of any software company with name users. It's like, for me, I have a lot of hand tools. I do projects, Steve. And in my toolbox, I have a lot of, Craftsman tools because they're great, they're affordable. I would love Snap-ons. I have a few, but it's the idea that I'm going to take that nice Snap-on wrench and write my name on it, and I'm the only one who can pick up that Snap-on wrench, whether it's sitting in the toolbox or not, which is absurd. So, with network licensing, if I'm not using that tool and it's just sitting there, somebody else can come along, pick that tool up, use it, put it back in the toolbox, and then I have use of it. So again, just great value in our licensing structure, great value in trying to grow the functionality. And then lastly is, you ever try to reach out to companies of a certain size and you cannot get past just the automated, phone system, and you just want to talk to a person? We're accessible. We're accessible through great partners like Zentech and people like you, Steve. We're greatly accessible as a company, and we just go out of our way to help our customers if they have an issue to solve that problem with our tools, and that's pretty rare nowadays. And I'm very proud of that. So, anyway, those are the ways I think we're unique. Tremendous value in the product, the licensing, and in the way we do business with our customers. That's long-winded, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty proud of what we do.
And the underlying theme from what I hear from that is flexibility for the client to make a decision that best fits their needs. You want a subscription because you have somebody coming in for a short-term project, subscribe. You want to own a perpetual license with a low cost of maintenance, buy it and have it. You want to have a network of a bunch of licenses for project managers who are infrequently in the office, sure, we can help you. So we're not limiting you and saying, this is what we want, so you're going to make it fit for you. We're saying, here's what we have, what works best for you. And I think that's really good.
That's exactly right. I'm going to show my age, but there was this old commercial that was out there with this gentleman. I think it was for the firm Smith Barney, right? He used to have that statement. I'm going to get it wrong, but it was something like, we do business the old-fashioned way. We earn it.
Yeah, we earn
right?
it.
Yeah. And I feel like that's who we are. We're earning the respect of our customers with the offerings we have in place.
That is important. That leads me into my next question of who do you think is a good fit to use BricsCAD?
Yeah, I touched upon it before, right? So I'm going to change a little bit and say, who do I see using our products today? What's our typical customers look like? And if it's in the AEC industry, customers who are designing AEC projects who do not need the cost or the complexity of a full-blown BIM project all the way from initial concept to completion of the project, right? We're a great solution for them. And it's kind of funny because we talk about the initial design being done in BIM. It's not being done in BIM. I see the initial design concept with large architectural firms, depending on who the initial designer is, being done by hand, being done in Rhino, maybe being done in SketchUp, right? And then it gets handed off to somebody else who's going to go in and take that design, and then they're going to put it into a BIM package. Then we see that BIM package go to a GC. What do they usually do? They go in and they redesign the whole thing in CAD because they need the details that they're only going to be comfortable with in CAD to take on the responsibility and the liability to go build that project. And so, as you know, Steve, we read BIM files, right? IFC, Revit files. And so you can take those initial designs, bring it in, work in an environment that you're very comfortable with, detail it to the level you need, not have to have an expensive and rare to find BIM person on staff as overhead. It's a lot of people, as I said before, they're probably going in, they might be making redesigning the CDs, creating shop drawings, and doing it with the detail that that they have the confidence that it's all there, that they can go build it. On the manufacturing side, we have a lot of customers who go in. We have a lot of tier one automotive suppliers. Somebody's going in and basically designing and not overly complex part. We're not, we're not a parametric 3D modeler to the extent of other CAD packages, nor do we try to be, on the mechanical side. But somebody who's making a fundamentally solid, straightforward design, again, can come in and very effectively design a product with us, and then go off and have the details to actually manufacture that part. So typically, those are the customers that we see today.
Yeah, and that's, in the 5 years I've been representing the product, that's kind of what we see as well. A nice cross-platform of people that are making the move to BricsCAD and seeing the benefit of the flexibility of it. And what a lot of clients like is, like I said, if they have the BIM interface or the mechanical interface, people from other products, like we'll use Autodesk as an example, they just don't understand how you can have BricsCAD load it and change your ribbon and be in your BIM environment, change your ribbon and be in your manufacturing environment, and go back to Pro and be in your CAD product. So all of your programs are in the one interface. You're not shutting one down, loading one up, moving the data over, uploading a DWG, saving it to something different. It's one file, one product. You just choose which interface you're working in. So definitely a different look and feel. So I know sometimes it's hard to talk about futures, especially when you're part of a larger organization, but what do you think the future looks like for BricsCAD?
I would say the future for BricsCAD looks bright. We continue to grow double digit every year. More and more customers are finding us as the best DWG CAD solution for their needs. Mm-hmm. We continue to have investments from Hexagon into the development of the product. And, our philosophy, as I touched upon, is DWG is going to be around a long time. And it is, for many, many customers, the best value, the most effective, the most efficient way to get their job done. And we're going to continue, despite what other companies may be doing, to invest in DWG to have it be leading edge with new functionality, continued AI productivity tools that customers can go in and get their job done as efficiently and effectively as possible for a long time to come.
Yeah, I like that. The last question I have for you today is, when are we having a meeting in Tennessee so I can enjoy some Southern barbecue?
You just pick the date, Steve. You can come down anytime you want. I've got 2 or 3 places. We'll put them in descending order, and you can try them all.
I would love to get down and try some of that. Well, as always, I welcome our listeners to visit our website, zentechconsultants.net, to learn more about our product offerings, especially including Bricsys, as we discussed today, or reach out to me directly. I'd like to take this time to thank Gary for joining me today on the Frozen Layer podcast. Until next time, keep freezing those layers.